Hello. Before this podcast starts, I just wanted to pay some respects to Raul Torres Martinez, who tragically lost his life at this year's edition of the Aleman TT. Raul was a very well-loved character within the TT paddock and within Spain as well, and actually was the fastest Spaniard to ever lap the Aleman TT. And on the day that we lost him, he actually celebrated a 125-mile-an-hour lap. He'll be very missed within the community. A lot of people have amazing things to say about him. You only have to look at the Erwin's tweets about him helping them through Spain to see what a great character he was. And he'll be sorely missed, but the racing community will never forget his name. Thank you. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Everything Moto Racing podcast. This is episode 101. I'm joined by Cameron because Lauren is unavailable this week, unfortunately.
C'est la vie.
And yeah.
Was that even mean?
So it
sounds about right.
What, c'est la vie?
Yeah.
I don't even know,
like,
genuinely.
What will be, or something like that.
Like, yeah, let's
that's
Google
the way it is. That's the way it do be sometimes. I'm pretty sure that's exactly.
Used to express acceptance or resignation in the face of a difficult or unpleasant situation.
Okay.
Like, it is what
works.
It is, basically.
Yeah, it is what it is. So, is it an unpleasant?
Stereophonics got a song called that.
Oh, I don't know. Is it an unpleasant situation? I suppose it is.
Yeah,
Frees a crowd.
It depends. Depends who you asked. Oh, but no. Yeah, we are back. It's been a Mugello race weekend.
Yeah.
Mugello. For me, the best racetrack in the world. But we didn't get the best racing in the world this weekend, did we?
Nah, this was dull. This was a dull race weekend, unfortunately. It was,
which is a shame.
Bagnaia across the board on the main event. Moto2 was, well, if you've got races where like the top three are separated by a good few seconds each, then I don't know, like. And the thing is, like, you don't, even if there's good battles for like 7th, 8th, 9th or whatever, because they're not in that top 5, we're not really getting that as the primary footage, like, to keep us entertained. We're just seeing a demolition job by whoever's in first for a little bit. And then, I don't know. And then Moto3 had little sparks of a Mugello classic towards the end, but, nah, I don't know. Pretty dull. I was disappointed after I was wanting it. After a month, I was like, yes, I'm ready. I'm ready for Mugello. Just, you know, the hype, and I'm ready for another race weekend. And I must say, I was sadly disappointed, I think. Yeah.
It's a shame. Like, Moto3 was good in the last few laps, but for the most part, it was a bit boring. But you had like the first big groups battling. The top 3 was split by 0.056. And then you had from like 6th to 15th scrapping for points as well, which Colin Via won that one. Very impressive. But then, yeah, you didn't really have much else in the Moto2 after Lowe's got taken out, and then Lopez obviously had his race ruined by his own stupidity. That was out of the equation. Then Salach may have brought something to the table, but then his tyres went. And Pedro Costa was just on rails. And then in MotoGP, Francesco Bagnaia was just on fire. He completed a Grand Slam, as they call it. But he went a bit further than a Grand Slam, to be honest, because Bagnaia actually went on and led Friday, qualified on pole, won the sprint race, got the fastest lap of the race, led every lap of the race, and then won the race as well.
I mean, it doesn't get much more dominant than that, does it, really?
No, it really doesn't.
In fact, I don't think really. There's nothing in terms of a race weekend that you can. No,
maybe lead every single session.
Did he break? Did he break records as well?
All-time lap record was beaten this weekend by Bagnaia. Yes.
Right. Well, there you go then. Clean sweep, I'd say.
Yeah, he did a 1:44.855.
Well,
pole position. So yes, he did all right.
Well, the thing is, though, he should have. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It was expected. The GP,
it's the bar.
The 23 is better than the GP22. Okay, bike's better than last year that the record was set on. The weather was good. the bike is built for the track, basically. He's built for the bike and the track. All things said it was going to be a weekend like this. And if it didn't, if he was second in anything, then he was disappointing, I think.
Oh, yeah, because he won it last year as well.
Yeah, exactly. He had to have a clean sweep like he did. Otherwise, he would have, it wouldn't have been what he should have done. And as we've seen throughout this year, though, any like race weekend where he's supposed to win, he bins it. So, well done, Pecco. You've got it together.
You've done what you expected of you.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Like, you're earning your paycheck, so to speak.
Yeah, and it's interesting with Bagnaia because we mentioned it a few times. Basically, as we've said, whoever's the most consistent this year will win the championship.
Yeah.
And like Bagnaia can crash out of as many races as he wants, but if Bezzecchi is finishing like 8th or wherever in the races, he got 8th place. Yeah, Bezzecchi can win 2 races, but if Pecco's winning 3 races and getting that consistency where Bezzecchi's not, then he's going to run away with it. He's already got 21 points up.
Yeah.
After Mugello, that's nearly a full race advantage there.
Yeah.
Jorge Martin's actually slotted into 3rd in the championship. His consistency is showing. He had 2 podiums in a row now. So that's an interesting one. Obviously, Zarco's had 2 podiums in a row as well. But for Bagnaia, he's on the best bike of the grid. He's a reigning world champion. If he's not winning races and doing this on home soil as well, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. He had every advantage of this weekend, and to be fair, he capitalised and did what he should have. I think for Bez to remain, I don't know, keeping that pressure on, Bez had to get a podium this weekend, I think.
Yeah, he did.
And he should have. His pace and everything was there, but then come Sunday, it just sort of wasn't. It just didn't materialise. I don't know what happened, but yeah, Bez had to get a podium this weekend, like you say, to have the kind of consistency that would challenge Pecco's sort of win it or bin it thing that's going on with him this year, as has, plagued him the last couple of years, to be honest. Bez had to get a podium. I think Martin is maybe starting to show signs of the consistent, getting the podium and just being able to bring home really good points. He might not get the win as often as Pecco, but I think he's maybe not going to bin it as much as Pecco. So he might, over the course of the season, when all the points are starting to tally up, he might be the one that Pecco's thinking, Christ, like, I've really got to keep these wins going, and he's gonna start feeling a bit more pressure. But
I think because Martin's got a chip on his shoulder anyway about not getting the red bike.
Yeah, he does.
So if he can take it, especially with Bezzecchi actually doing as well as he is, that's going to fuel Martin even more to perform.
Yep.
And I think Martin's in a good place. He's got his girlfriend and stuff. He's got a good personal life going on. He's got lives in Andorra. He's got a lot of good friendships in the paddock and things like that. And I think he's in a good place mentally.
Yep.
And so I think, he's not injured for once as well, which does help because he was obviously recovering from that massive Portimao smash for a long time.
Yeah.
And so he's doing really well now. And I think he just needs to keep that momentum. We're heading to Sachsenring next week, and then we've got Assen. I think he can do okay there. I don't know if he'll win races, but I definitely think Bagnaia will be up there.
Yeah,
but
of course, Pecco will be up there. That was the thing with Martin. Like, I don't think he might win the odd race, maybe come to like Austria or something. That's where he got his first win, wasn't it? In GP.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And I said it last time around. Well, I said last year when we kind of figured out who'd got the other factory seat alongside Bagnaia. I think Pramac was probably just the better option for him anyway. I think being Pecco's teammate is turning into being Mark's teammate through the 2010s. It's going to be a bit of a poison chalice, as they say.
Yes.
I think being, let's be honest, the first rider in the Pramac squad, which is still, it's a GP23. They're getting all the support they need. And it's what, Martin's 3rd year in that team now?
Yeah, it'll be the third year. Yeah.
Like it's clicking clearly, and like they're really figuring it out. And there's no doubting that Martin's fast. He's a happy rider. He's a fast rider, and he is doing bits, and he's gonna carry on doing bits. I think they're really figuring that out.
That's it. I think he could really pull in a surprise for championship. I think the title will be won by Ducati this year. I think that's obvious.
Yeah,
I don't really think you need me to tell you that.
No.
You look in the top 6 of a championship, you've got Bagnaia, Marco Bezzecchi, Martin, Binder, Zarco and Marini. There's one KTM and a sea of Ducatis.
Yeah.
So unless Miller, Fabio can pull anything out,
no.
I just can't see it. Like, no disrespect to either of them. But KTM are looking good. The top speed record has been beaten, and it's Brad Binder.
Yeah.
With 366.1 kilometers an hour.
That's pretty quick.
Which is ridiculous, but additional.
Was that an old money?
227.5 miles an hour.
Jesus Christ.
227. I remember when they crossed 220.
I can't. The fact that when they're doing that in Mugello as well, they're coming over a crest and having to sort of bank left a little bit to set up for turn 1. At 227 miles per hour. Come on. But then it was interesting hearing about the comments they were saying about the aero now as well, because before, even just a couple of years ago, they still had wings a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But the difference in the aero now, like the bikes are so planted coming over that crest at 220-ish miles an hour. Yeah. Compared to what they were doing a couple of years ago. Similar speed, maybe not quite as fast, but the aero wasn't quite as developed and it was a lot more unstable. So
they got the rear aero on the KTM now as well. KTM actually brought a new aero package to Mugello, which was tested over the weekend. New rear spoiler. I don't know if they finished the weekend or not. I don't think they did. But they did try some new aero out. It's interesting as well. On the 11 top speeds.
Oh, yeah.
So on the list for the 11 fastest speeds ever in MotoGP, 8 of them were set this weekend.
Jesus Christ.
And the other 3...
Who were they? Who is it?
So it's Brad Binder in P1. Then P2 is Enea Bastianini, who did in the sprint race. Third place is Jorge Martin last year at Mugello as well.
All right.
Third is Vinales with the same speed as Martin, doing it in the sprint race this year at Mugello.
Okay.
Fourth is Digia doing the exact same speed in Mugello in the race. Fourth, there's 6 riders tied fourth.
Right.
With Zarco doing an FP4 at Qatar 21, Binder doing an FP3 Mugello 21, Binder doing it Mugello Q2 23, Zarco Sprint 23 Mugello, Miller Sprint Mugello 2023, Binder Warm-Up Mugello 2023.
Right, so KTM or Ducati, really? There's a Rogue Aprilia in there.
There is a Rogue Aprilia, yeah. But it is. Vinales third, but apart from that, it's just KTM Ducati.
And what's the best? Vinales was probably slipstreaming a Ducati.
Probably, yeah.
Or a KTM getting that pace.
Potentially, yeah. I think Binder may have slipstreamed some, but then again, they could do it without needing a slipstream as well. They've got the raw power there.
Yeah.
I think KTM have got one of the most powerful engines on their grid, to be honest. Ducati have obviously been known for it, but KTM have snuck up. And Ducati, I think Paolo Sciabatti is actually worried about KTM's progress this year as well.
Oh, good.
But KTM's an interesting one because I believe... because they want to keep all their 4 riders, of course. Pedro Costa, though, is the interesting link because from the 30th, I think, of this month, he is allowed to speak to other manufacturers.
Oh.
Because they don't really have a seat for a MotoGP. They can either sack Binder, sack Miller, sack Paul, sack Fernandez, or lose Pedro.
Right. But let's be real, right? Let's have a little hypothetical here. You are Pedro Acosta. The date is the 1st of July, 2023. You can speak to other manufacturers. KTM have said, we can't sack anyone in MotoGP. Can you hang on for another year in Moto2? At the same time that they've said this to you, Repsol Honda have come to you and said, do you fancy the seat? What are you saying?
No.
Yamaha have come to you and said, hey, Morbidelli's off ski. Where do you fancy the seat? What do you say?
Nope.
Exactly. Aprilia
want to keep
have come
all
to
four.
you and said,
They want to keep all four.
Yeah, well, that's it. But
yeah.
So what do you do? If I'm Acosta, I'm sticking in that IO Moto2 squad.
Yeah, because he said he wanted to stay loyal to KTM anyway.
Well, he would right now anyway. It's not quite the 30th.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, especially if they're improving the way they are.
Exactly. Yeah. The KTM's now a really nice prospect in MotoGP. And another year of Jack Miller and Binder and all that being on the Red Bull KTM. In 2025, that's going to be a juicy bike to be on, I think.
Oh, yeah. Speaking there, you mentioned Morbidelli, who very much hinted at his future because he did an interview with Jack from Dorna.
His face when he was doing it as well. He was very
he was like,
coy.
Oh. And he was like, because Jack Appleyard asked him, will this put you, because he beat Fabio in qualifying and in the race, and he was like, do you think this will put you in a better stead for next year? And he's like, what do you mean? He's like, well, for a contract with Yamaha next year. And he's like, a contract with Yamaha next year?
Yeah.
You'll have to speak to Lynn Jarvis about that one.
Yeah, do I want that?
I was like, oh.
I wouldn't want to be on a Yamaha next year.
Especially, he's in the VR46 Academy, and he's got, Bezzecchi, Bagnaia, and Marini all on Ducatis. And he's probably sat there like, am I a knobhead?
Yeah, and he's because I feel like, at the ranch and when they're training on superbikes and stuff, Morbidelli is just as quick as all these other guys, if not quicker.
If not faster,
I feel like he quite often does outperform them in other events on other bikes and stuff. So why wouldn't he think, if I can just get myself on that little Mooney VR46 Ducati, if that's what it's going to be next year, we still don't know. He might be thinking he can, be this next year's Alex Marquez.
That's it. Alex Marquez has done remarkable things this year. It's a shame he keeps getting knocked off. He did crash his own error this weekend in this main race, but
he
qualified in the front row with his brother Mark, which is quite a nice little thing. But Alex Marquez has been a sensation, but it just shows what moving from a horrendous Honda to a destructive Ducati can do,
If Mir had been on Ducati. That Gresini Ducati, we'd be seeing how well Mir has done this year. I think it's really, if you're a proven rider and you're on a Ducati, you're gonna do well, really. Yeah.
Which is, it kind of shows if you're not performing it, you're kind of, it's very obvious, like Fabio Di Giannantonio, unfortunately, is not performing, and that is very obvious and very clear for everyone to see. Yeah. Where his shortcomings are, unfortunately. He's on a bike that Alex Marquez is putting on the front row. Yeah. And he is struggling for points.
And so when 7 of the 8 Ducatis are pretty much in the top 10 every week, except his, there's no arguing with it. It's the rider. You can't even say it's a team, because the other side of the garage, you've got Alex Marquez, like you say, doing really well.
Bernat Bassini got third in the championship in there last year.
Exactly. They're no longer a new team. No. Unfortunately, it looks like his ticket's up with that one, isn't it?
It is, and with rumours of Tony Arbolino, which we have mentioned in the podcast the other week, being replacing him there, it's looking like a done deal. I mean, it's harsh to see a rider only get 2 years in MotoGP, but we're at the highest level of motorsport, and it's tough to see a World Championship like Remy Gardner get cast out after 1 year. Yeah. But if Remy Gardner did a bad year in the second year, then again, there's an argument for it.
It's all you can get
when
now.
You see Ralph Fernandez get 3 years, you're like, ooh. Yeah. But that's a stinger. But yeah, it's all you get now. You've had 2 years. He's on the best bike of the grid. If Alex Marquez wasn't performing, you'd be saying the same thing, you know? And
exactly. Yeah.
He hasn't got a credentials to back him up. Fabio Quartararo is struggling, but Fabio Quartararo is a MotoGP World Championship to back him up. You have Mir as a championship to back him up. You know, you can at least prop yourself up a little bit with that. Yeah. Mir and Rins obviously struggling on the Honda. Rins breaking his tibia and fibula.
Jesus, that sounds nasty.
Mir breaking, I believe, his fingers and missing the entire weekend. It just shows Honda, unfortunately, their woes. You've got Nakagami running around in 12th, and then you've got, I think he finished the race in 12th as well, 13th.
Nakagami's just trying to get out alive now. That's it.
He's just staying on it,
his last year, and he's like, I'm just gonna like Marquez says, ride around 10th or 12th, but within the limits. Ride where it's comfortable and just bring home the paycheck, and then head off to wherever next.
Yeah, because that's it. Because Marquez crashed out of the race, and he stood up, put his hands up, and was like, "I don't know what's going on. I don't know how to ride this bike anymore. What's going on, Honda?"
Yep. Well, I said the only way that Mark could even try and keep up with the Ducatis and even the KTMs this weekend was to be over the limit every single corner. And it was bound to catch him out eventually, and obviously it was...
He ran wide, hit a dirty part of the track, and bang, he's gone down.
But he had no choice. They're saying like, oh, he was offline and stuff, but he almost had no choice but to be offline. Because he has to brake just that little bit later and be in the slipstream pretty much everywhere, even in the braking zones, which of course sucks you in, and you get drawn into the corner a bit more. It's the way that he has to ride that bike to be in with a shout of like a top 5, dare I say even a top 10. You got to ride it like that, otherwise you're not gonna get anywhere.
Yeah, and it must kill him to see Alex Marquez riding the Ducati so easily. Yeah. Like just floating around Ducati, bang, he's third. He's not really put any extra additional work into it, and yet he's managed to get the same result. Or like you watch the race and Johan Zarco's 12th on the opening lap and finishes the race in third. Yeah. Like you're throwing up on your helmet like Ralph Fernandez did hilariously.
Jesus, yeah.
Or ironically,
what's going on there? Is he unwell, or is he just like unfit? Is he partied too hard? What's going on with this kid? What's happening?
So Ralph Fernandez threw up in his helmet during the race. I believe because he was feeling quite ill.
Right.
Didn't feel too great during the past week, and then was like dosed up on painkillers and all that malarkey, and then. Yeah, he just said during the race his stomach just went a bit, and he went all over the bike and inside the helmet.
Interesting. I don't know what's going on with all this year, but I mean, if I was Aprilia, I'd be thinking, Jesus Christ, come on, man! Like you were.
They want to keep him.
But he was so promising, and does every now and then show like some real speed, and so he should be on that bike, to be honest. But
he should.
I don't know what's happening.
They want to keep him another year. They've said, Massimo Rivola basically said that they're going to keep all 4 riders. So Raul will get another year, which would be great for him because, as we've said previously, he's from 2015, he's been a different bike every year. And then he went from the Moto3 to Moto2 and then to MotoGP, and then he switched bike in MotoGP, and he switched teams in Moto3 from Aspar to KTM.
Yeah.
He's ridden a different bike every year of his career, and so that continuity will be good for him next year. But when you see, I was thinking about this earlier, Mark Marquez, obviously is not happy. Fabio Quartararo, not happy. Aleix is probably going to retire at the end of next year.
Yeah.
Fabio and Marquez, I think, are the 2 fastest and most talented riders on that grid, hands down. Unfortunately, they're in a situation where, for some reason, the Japanese bikes aren't very fast. For whatever reason, the European guys have just taken over. I think both of them will probably want a taste of that European pie, and I would not be surprised to see them as teammates in Aprilia come 2025.
That would be interesting. What, in the factory squad?
In the factory squad, because but Miguel wants it, obviously. I can't see Vinales is like so inconsistent at the moment. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. He should be top 5 every weekend, and he's just not.
Yeah.
He's got the bike and we know he's got the speed, but he's just got that thing where
it's the Vinales curse.
If it isn't, if the planets aren't aligned, then he's
12th.
Yeah, exactly. And he's no right to be. He should not be 12th.
No, he shouldn't. And with the bike that was fighting for the championship last year, and he expects to win races, he said. He hopes to win races. He expects to win races this year. Yeah. And
I mean,
that comes with
At very
pressure.
least, he should be outperforming Aleix, I'd say.
Oh, yeah.
At very
Aleix
least.
is injured and he got sick.
Yeah, and therefore, by virtue, Vinales should have been podium.
Yeah, I'm 100%. 100%. Aleix, I love Aleix. Last year was outstanding, but Aleix should not be 1 point ahead of Vinales in the championship standings at the moment.
No.
When he was injured as well. But Aleix's consistency shows he had a 5th, 6th last 3 races, whereas Vinales had DNF, 12th.
Yeah. This should be the year of Aleix basically passing the baton to Vinales.
Yeah, before he retires. He's getting older.
This is it. And it sounds like it might not be Vinales. He's maybe going to have to pass it to somebody else.
Maybe Miguel. But that's the thing. I don't see Marquez is like the fact that Marquez is like this annoyed after a crash and even said Honda's my plan A alludes to the fact that there's a plan B or a plan C or a plan D.
Yep.
You know, he said many times, I want to be on a race winning bike, I want to be on a bike that wins races. I think the real telling point will be the Sachsenring race this weekend.
Yes.
If he cannot dominate on that bike, then he's in trouble.
Yeah.
We're in trouble.
Absolutely. Because
he can count out any championships the next few years.
Yeah, because he's fully fit, Marquez. I think we can say now. He's fully fit.
Yeah.
He can wrestle the bike around. He is fast. In terms of him as a rider, he is hella fast and he knows how to ride the thing and he knows how to go around Sachsenring quicker than anybody else by a mile. And if you can't get this Honda around there in first place, then yeah, you're right. That's job's fucked, basically.
Yeah. Oh yeah, completely.
Yep.
It would be like, yeah, Honda can't recover from that, I don't think.
No, that's it. You can't have a record at Sachsenring like Marc Marquez and then not blame the bike if he doesn't win again. Basically, it's like the reverse of Fabio Digibita. I can never say his surname. Yeah. Like it's the law of averages here. What you've got such a scope of data with Digia and all the other Ducatis to be able to point at Digia and be like, you're the problem. And then similarly with Marquez's record at Sachsenring, if he can't win here, he's got to point at the bike and be like, that's the problem.
Yeah, because it's like you can say at any track, like maybe it's Marquez, maybe he's not what he was, but the fact that he came back in 2021 and won at Sachsenring,
yeah,
very easily.
Yeah,
like I'm gonna say not very easy. Miguel Oliveira did put some pressure on him, but it wasn't enough to stir him. If the Marquez has got 11 wins at the circuit, and if you can't win at Sachsenring, it just will again expose Honda for everything they are. Rins is going to be out now. Honda even said that Rins isn't allowed to test the Kalex chassis and won't be until basically said for the foreseeable future. There you go.
Jesus, what's
he
happening?
will not be using the Kalex chassis. It's like, Honda, what are you going on? And then you've got Yamaha having the same issues.
But arguably worse.
Yeah,
that bike's actually slow as well. I don't know, but then at least it's rideable. At least the riders aren't coming. Well, at least they're finishing the race. But
yeah, that's true. Like Honda riders can't even stay on the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and when Marc Marquez can't stay on a bike during racing, like he's crashed in as we know, he crashes brains out in practice and qualifying and things like that. And yes, he's crashed during races and stuff, but he's always been able to limit those crashes to the sessions where it's okay to crash out of.
Yeah, exactly.
But now he's crashing and he doesn't understand why.
Yeah.
Then, there's a problem there.
Yeah, there definitely is. And the thing, you look at the European bikes, and you can tell that they all have a lot of, shall we say, science in them. And as a result, a lot of them look quite similar. Like the front aero and a KTM and a Ducati do look kind of similar. And you got to think that's probably like Occam's razor, as it's known. It's sort of just wound up that way, almost because it has to be. That's optimal. And then you
Yeah,
look
that's
at the
what works.
wings. Yeah, exactly. You look at the wings on even the Yamaha and the Honda. They look like afterthoughts.
Yeah.
It looks like they've gone like,
that's-
this is what we think will work. Okay, this is rideable. Let's go with that. Rather than being like, let's test 1,000 iterations and simulate so much stuff and all this machine learning and AI and wind tunnels and yada yada. You feel like they're just kind of not bothering and going with what they think works. Like the European bikes feel data driven, and the Japanese bikes at the moment feel sort of instinct driven still, which I get has worked like throughout their heritage and you know, basically for the last like 50 years. But this is 2023 and it's all got to be data driven now.
We're in technology era now, you know, and
the numbers say this is faster, go with that, basically. Yeah,
I think, I can't remember who said it. It may have actually been Neil Hodgson on BT Sport hilariously. But this person, whoever they are, basically said it's like they developed the bike and then stick wings on it at the end, which is obviously what you've said about the wing being an afterthought. You know, you've got Ducati using their wind tunnels and things like that. Then Ducati, I've always praised Ducati because they're the ones to push the envelope. They're always the ones. They were the first ones to put the wings on the bike, the first ones to use the ride height devices, the first ones to do everything that we see so commonly across every manufacturer now in MotoGP, from the fairings to the side fairings, you know, to like weird swing armor things. And they had obviously the wings on the back.
Yep.
Then they had the underscoop as well, that's now on the KTM and the Aprilia and the Yamaha. And it is a case of Ducati just leading by example and everyone else following because they can. But it's like Honda have tried to copy it, but have put the Honda little twist on it. And it's not working, obviously.
And another thing has got to be the electronics as well. They're sort of they're almost like the two primary factors now in winning a MotoGP race is your aero and your electronics. Like, when was the last time you saw a Ducati high side?
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to think.
And yet, your Hondas have just about killed their riders with high sides consistently for like the last couple of years.
Mir had a high side last year as well, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Just trying to think.
Austria, I think, was it?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Like, Ducati, just their electronics must be so dialed in that obviously they're still being able to deliver the power and the feel, but you can't high side the thing. It'll spin and it'll control it. And it's you're not getting this sort of like chatter and you know, instability on the way into corners like you're seeing with the other bikes. It's the same with Aprilia as well. They're really stable. You're not getting high sides and shit. Whereas, I mean, particularly Honda,
like Marquez is always high side.
Yeah, that's it. They're still throwing riders in the air, and you got to think now in 2023, the electronics like that should be sorted. You should not be. Yeah, because
they're all on the same ones as well. It's the Magneti Morelli package. They're all on the same ones, but Ducati obviously have been able to.
They got better engineers.
Give the riders enough feel.
Yeah,
like when Pecco crashed and was like, "I've got too much feel." Enough feel that you know when the rear is starting to slide and kick out, and you can kind of correct that.
Yeah, rather than it kicking with the Honda, it's just like biting and throwing.
Just going, you know what? Screw you! I'm bored of you now. Let's go.
Yes,
you know, like, and they lose the front because again, there's no front feeling, and it's the Yamaha is just slow.
Yeah.
Like the fact that Fabio can't even beat Morbidelli now is actually worrying.
What happened there? That was a weird thing. And do you think there's been, I don't know, has Fabio made some kind of decision in his head? Maybe not necessarily in his head, but I mean, obviously he is contracted to the end of next year with Yamaha.
Like Vinales was.
Exactly. Has Fabio, because I mean, like a team's going to open their doors to Fabio. Like you say, he's clearly one of the top 2 or 3 riders on the grid in terms of pure talent and speed.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where my head's went, but maybe like he's already decided that next year he's out of that contract and he's going elsewhere. But then where?
I don't know, because there are two slots open on the grid for next year.
Mm-hmm.
But there are so many riders who probably want out. Like Johan Mir is 24th in a 28 rider championship. He is behind Danilo Petrucci, Michele Pirro, Jonas Folger, Danny Pedrosa, Enea Bastianini, Miguel Oliveira, who have like either not done any races or have done a wild card. He's only ahead of Lecona, who scored 0, Bradle, Ralph Fernandez, and Lorenzo Savadori. But Savadori's only got 1 point behind him. Like,
not on for
Johan Mir is going to be one a bit out.
Yeah, he's
I wouldn't be surprised if we saw
someone posting
Mark, Frankie, Mir, and Fabio, who are all MotoGP race winners and 3 of them MotoGP champions. Franco Morbidelli, a Moto2 world champion. All of them just walk out of their contracts early and be like, no, it's not good enough.
But because then where do they go?
That's the tricky part, because Marquez and Fabio would find seats easily, even if they set up a brand new team. Yeah. Fabio's actually split with his manager, and from 2025 will be managed by himself and his own company. Marquez has switched to the vertical management company now from Emilio Alzamora. They also manage Alex Marquez and Maximo Martinez, who's a little Spaniard who's the 2021 European Talent Cup champion, won the rookies race at Mugello, and is like one of the fastest kids I think I've ever seen in my life, whose career has been absolutely destroyed or hindered, should I say, by those age limit regulations. And he's doing his 3rd year of the European Talent Cup despite winning it at 13.
All right.
But I think there's 2 grid slots left. Like, KTM might throw them a lifeline, and Husqvarna. But then they want Pedro.
That's a good shout.
But then, in the same way, like,
one of them would be reserved for Pedro, for sure.
But like, surely Fabio's sat there like, why on earth did I sign this contract? Like, maybe Yamaha like, we'll fix it, we'll do it, we'll sort it for you. And they haven't. Marquez is on 25 million a year. I guarantee you he would be like, you can have it back. I don't want it. I want to win a race. Because
exactly
the fact that Alex Rins has won a race and he hasn't is scary.
I mean, arguably that was Marquez's race to win on the Honda.
Yes.
Yeah. But if there was somewhere where the Honda was capable of winning a race and somewhere
it's next weekend.
Marquez was going to do it. It's next weekend or at Kota. Rins had it at Kota.
Yeah, of course.
Mark, I think, well, we'll get to the predictions, but yeah, Mark, I think has got every chance of winning this weekend. I don't know. Where do they go? Of those 4 that you just mentioned, I feel like Morbidelli would be the one without a seat purely by, unless Mir's just sick of it and he's like, do you know what? I don't care what bike I'm on. I don't want another crash on any bike.
If you go to super bikes or whatever, like
live in Andorra. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Where the bikes seem to stay upright, at least in super bikes. You see, like in super bikes, they get those bikes into mental shapes, and they never seem to lose the front.
Manages to do like mental. Those Pirellis are really good. There is a rumor that Pirelli might be coming to MotoGP, but that's a rumor.
That would be good.
Yeah, but it's just weird. There are rumors of Digia going to World Superbikes. But yeah, it's just strange. It's a shame to see Oliveira crash during the race as well. After his comeback. And I was like, yeah, he's having a terrible one. I really thought Oliveira would be up there this year, but he just keeps getting crashed into, injured. He's just like, he really would have been like, he would have been outperforming both Aleix and Vinales, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, especially the form that particularly Vinales has shown.
Oh yeah,
Aleix has been kind of where I thought he would be. I didn't think he'd be doing as well as he did last year, but he's still doing well. He's still getting solid top tens. You know,
he's injured in Mugello. He's doing as well as he was. Yeah,
exactly. You're right. I mean, well, from what we saw of Oliveira in the first glimpses at Portugal, he was on for doing really rather well this season. But it's
I hope he can pick it up, like, because he is consistent when he needs to be. But he's just way down the order, obviously.
Yeah, he's not a crasher. He's fast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Where is he in the championship standings? I can't even find him in the standings. 17th. Jesus Christ.
That's not where he wants to be.
No, a rider though that is annoying me a little bit this year. It's annoyed me for a while. I love him, and I think the whole paddock loves him. Is Johan Zarco. I don't think we're going to see him win a race now because he was 12th place on that opening lap. And he always has that end race pace, and he's so fast. But
I know. But then
he just can't seem to start a race.
Does he sacrifice a bit at the start to have that speed at the end? It might be a very different race for him if he starts being more aggressive at the beginning.
When he was when he joined the class.
In the opening laps. Yeah, exactly.
Then he's in another chance.
Well, yeah, I don't know. On a side note, though, how pretty were the Pramacs on Sunday?
I thought they were right. I didn't think they were too great, to be honest.
I loved them.
Did you?
I really liked it. Yeah,
I don't know. I thought the flames and that were a bit like.
Come on, it's a bit light-hearted. I thought it was great. I loved it.
Yeah. Like Lorenzo when he ran the flame thing when he was on the Repsol.
Yeah, sick. I loved it. That was my favorite Mugello special.
I didn't think. I was surprised we didn't see a VR46 livery or a.
That'll be Misano.
Grassini.
Probably.
They normally have a Grassini one. Yeah, probably will be Misano. It's just a bit weird. Yeah, they were all right. But yeah, it was nice seeing Nate Bastianini back as well, finally.
It was, and I thought he had a pretty solid showing, actually, considering he's been out for 3 or 4 months.
That was his first race that he finished this year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First race he finished. 9th or something?
He was, in the sprint, he got a point with 9th, and then the main race, he got 9th as well, yeah.
I mean, that's pretty solid, I would say.
Yeah, I'd take that for his first race of the year.
Yeah.
How did he? Hopefully he can build on that.
How did he qualify?
Oh God, I don't know. Let's have a look.
Come on, man. Let's go.
I'm getting it. I think he got to Q2. 12th. Yeah, qualified 12th.
Okay.
Isn't too bad.
Yeah. I thought he did better than that, actually. So I was going to say, it shows that his pace is there, but it was just more a sort of fitness thing in the race.
Yeah.
But qualifying 12th, maybe thought he would have done better.
It's about average for a guy who's come back from injury, I think.
Yeah.
But Jack Miller it was very interesting at the start because he was leading the race.
He was, yeah.
Did you see the video? He put a little 2 fingers up to Bagnaia at the start.
No.
Miller shot past Bagnaia on the straight and put the 2 little fingers up. So peace out.
Oy.
Yeah, absolute typical Jack Miller style, that one.
Yeah, I love it. We need characters like Jack and Brad.
We do.
And KTM suit them so much. Just a little bit unhinged, you know what I mean? A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit of
wild.
funny, a little bit,
Yeah, as opposed to the sort of serious, image conscious culture of Ducati. I think it really suits them. Can you imagine Brad on a factory Ducati?
Oh my God.
No
it'd be
way.
Disgusting.
It would not work at all. What are you doing there? What are you doing? It's like when I used to work on cruise ships. It was like a black tie night. I felt horrendous.
Really?
No, thank you. Ugh, yeah, it was disgusting.
Oh my word.
Hated it.
That does sound... bleh.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah,
playing some jazz.
Right. Before we move on to Moto2, it's been announced today that Bautista will get a GP23 test at Misano next week.
That'll be fun. Do you think anything will come of it? Even if he fucking nails it. Say he's 0.3 of a second off of a Pecco lap. Do you think anything will come of it?
Well, he said he didn't really have an interest in doing a MotoGP wildcard.
Bollocks.
Which is a
Vinales
shame.
Wasn't going to leave Yamaha.
True. That is true. I mean, so we'll have to see.
Bautista could do a wild card at Misano, crash, break a leg, come back 6 weeks later to the Superbike grid and still win the championship.
Yeah, he could.
He's got nothing to lose.
No,
I would say. And I'm sure if he chatted to Petrucci would be like, do it. Get on that GP23, have a race. You'll love the sprint race.
Yeah, because it was the best bike he'd ever ridden.
Exactly. Petrucci would be like, you gotta go for it, man.
Yeah.
You regret the things you don't do.
Yeah.
And that's coming from me, a humble little pleb, so.
Yeah, exactly. So there you go, Bautista, do the wild card.
Do it.
I'd love to see how well he'd do. I think he'd do all right,
When's he coming on the pod?
Oh God, I don't know. Never. I don't know. I don't know, but
I think he'd do well. Yeah, I mean, it seems the bike seems to work for basically anyone who gets on the thing, so he certainly won't be slow. And it's a 2-day test, right?
Yeah, it is a 2-day test. Yeah,
plenty of time to put
he's
in
got a chance
flyer.
to yeah, exactly. And it's around Misano, which he knows well, and he obviously raced the GP18, so he's not far off. So he'll do all right, I think.
Yeah, I think he would. I'm looking forward to that. Do you know if it's going to be like, are they going to be like publicly available times and stuff? Is this anything going to be official?
I think there'll be someone at the side of a track with a stopwatch, but I don't think there'll be any times released unless he does really well.
Right.
If he does exceptionally well, then yeah, I think they'll drop the times. But apart from that, no.
That's the barometer. Okay, then.
That's it.
Very good.
Yeah, moving to Moto2.
Yeah.
Very sad to see Sam Lowe's get knocked off.
Yeah, he was livid.
He was like, it was a bit desperate from Lopez, I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't like, the classiest.
Lopez is like, no, he's going on Instagram going, Senna quote, like, if you no longer go for a gap, you're no longer a racing driver and all that. And it's like, bro, that move was like outrageous.
There wasn't a gap, was there?
Like, you had no right to be making that move.
Yeah, it was a classless move, and I got to say, a pretty classless follow-up on social media as well. Like, the move was never on. It was the first lap, right?
Yeah, it was.
Come on, like, what's he up to? And he had the pace. He came back to what, 6th?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, after a double on that penalty because he went off the track.
And butchered the first one. Hilarious. That was rookie shit there.
Yeah, the fact that he made it a second one after losing even more time, I think, was a bit stupid. But the rules are the rules, you know.
Rules are the rules. Yeah, exactly. Like,
it kind of ruined the race, though.
Well, that's the flip side of it, because it was pretty boring up the front, wasn't it? From then on,
like, because Acosta just went away. You know, you didn't have Lowe's or Lopez trying to scrap with him.
No. Yeah, so I mean, does the punishment fit the crime? Who was really punished? You know, we could get really deep into this, I'm sure. You know, he was punished. Lowe's was punished. We were punished, the spectators. Basically, the stewards ruined everything.
Yeah, no one wins.
No one wins except Pedro Acosta.
Yeah, but he's very good at that, so it's fine.
when he feels like it anyway.
Yeah, when he doesn't want to crash.
Yeah, if he doesn't fancy like an early lunch, then he'll win.
Because he crashed in second place in Sachsenring last year.
I know.
I'm a bit worried about what he can do as a rookie, though. Yeah,
it's an awkward track, Sachsenring. A lot of off-camber stuff and like
tight corners.
Yeah, a lot of time spent on the side of the tire.
It's a weird one.
It is a weird one, and it's why your Marquez's just are able to, you know, that's where the talent really comes through. And they're able to just make the difference.
He learned to ride flat track, didn't he? So he can left, and he's all right.
Yeah.
But then it's always that flick over on the top of the hill, top of the waterfall, as they call it. When you're finally on the right side of the tire and it's gone cold, and you're like,
yep,
and you slide off.
Yeah, gone.
Yeah, there's a nice little scrap for third place. So Canat, Vietti, Salac, and Dixon, who managed to get it on the end.
He did. Nicely done.
Nice to see Vietti back up there. Very sad to see Salac's tyres go late on.
Yeah.
It's a big shame because he was actually very super impressive this year and very competitive.
Yep.
And it was a shame to see him actually not do what he deserved to do, I think.
Yeah.
I think he deserved a podium for sure.
I still feel like I'm being gaslit by the media though, because he saved that front end, I swear, and there were no slow-mos of it.
I didn't see it.
No one mentioned it. I swear, the front went, and it went wide, and, you know, just a classic sort of like front end save, basically.
Yeah.
I swear it happened, but no one mentioned it. No slow-mos. I saw it with my own eyes.
I'll watch it back and let you know
where it happened. But no, it was. I mean, it was a great run, regardless. Dixon just had a little more tire left in the end. It was good to see, actually, because Dixon, I think, has not had the season he wanted so far. So
no, he's not. It's just a shame. Like, but it's nice to see him back on the box. He's obviously got his kid now, which is great for Jake. Nice to see a Brit back up there. Maybe this can start to be his momentum, and he can get some more podiums, things like that. Because obviously they want a British rider in MotoGP. I don't know where on earth they put him, but he's probably the best bet for having one in the next few years, I think.
Yeah, he's the closest we'll get.
Yeah, he
for
is.
A wee while.
But with riders like Sergio Garcia coming through and doing as well as they do, it's going to be a bit tricky.
That's an
Sixth
impressive
place
rookie.
as a rookie.
Yep.
Sixth place. He didn't finish the race in sixth, finished 10th, but he was running at sixth place. For a little short ass like him, that's amazing.
That's I mean, when you compare him to his sort of Aspar counterpart from last year, it's really rather good, I would say.
Yeah, Guevara got his best result in Moto2 yet of 18th, but like he should be scoring points now. Aragora was 15th.
What's happened?
Like, what is going on?
Do you think he's already signed for the GP seat?
And he's like, you know what? I don't want that Honda seat anymore.
Yeah.
Like maybe it was like, you can have it if you finish in the top 3 of the championship. And he's like, right then.
Sabotage. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that then.
Finish in the bottom 3, maybe.
Yeah,
Jesus.
like Jesus. Like what the hell's going on? And Arenas is struggling like hell. He's really underperforming. I am really, really sad. Like I thought Arenas was going to absolutely kill it this year. Especially after doing so well in the Gas squad last year, and he's just not.
Yep. He should have. He should be doing bits, and he's not. And also feeling sorry for my boy Rory Skinner. Had that crash, then got wiped out bad times.
Yeah,
just not being able to build
and
that momentum.
Couldn't even race.
I know. Very sad, but hey, that's part of the game, and I think he's realizing just what a job is on his hands to actually make an impact here. But
in the toughest championship in the world,
World Championship.
Yeah, that's it. And
it is. Yeah.
Shame as well for Darren Binder, who made his return this weekend and didn't make it past the first corner because Aldiger crashed and took out Alcoba and Binder with him. It wasn't his fault. Like he just lost the front, and they were like innocent parties in it. But big shame because Alcoba, I think, had some good speed in him. I think he could have done quite well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting really tired now. Sorry.
Yeah. But other than that, it was a fairly boring race, to be honest, wasn't it?
Yeah, Mugello disappointed. Moto3 was all right. Obviously with Joel Kelso on the front row, but then he got delayed to the back of the grid because it was most of the top riders like even Otola and stuff like that who could have actually scrapped for the win was obviously penalised the back of the grid for their own fault for like messing around. They were going too slow. They were going too slow on racing line, things like that. So they got demoted to the back of the grid, which is a shame because I think like Joel Kelso really could have made an impact. Same with Otola. But that's racing, unfortunately, isn't it?
That is, like we just said, the rules are the rules. Don't be a dick on a live track.
Yeah, but your boy, Furusato, was up to 4th place on the opening lap.
Was he? I didn't even clock.
He was 4th.
I've seen you before the pod. I only caught the last couple of laps in Moto3, but
oh yeah, of course.
Yes, Furusato.
He did get a DNF.
Maybe he's the one. Oh well. I mean,
well,
come on.
He DNF,
it's all
but
about sparks of divinity. That's
it. Like because he did lose some places out to 10th, and then gained them back and was like 6th, 7th, or 8th, which is really good. For a kid who went from the Asia Talent Cup straight into the Moto3 World Championship, which is an absolutely massive move. Too much of a move, I think. But he was in the rookies as well and won on his debut at Mugello as well, which obviously is good stead for him. But yeah, I think he needed some years in the Junior World Championship. But he's coming good, and I'm really happy to see that he is doing that because he's solidifying himself now in the championship.
Yeah, he's hardly languishing and sort of, 2 or 3 seconds off the pace of the back of the grid. He's getting there. So, how old is he? He's got to be, 17?
Like 16, 17, yeah. Let's have a look. Tayo.
16? Yeah, he's a young gun. Maybe he's the one to take Nakagami's seat.
What, he's going to MotoGP next year? Yeah, he's 17.
Yeah. Yeah, he's getting used to these big jumps. He'll just...
Yeah, he's like, you know what?
And then they'll just mold the Honda around him over the next 5 years.
Yeah, because he won every single race in the Asia Talent Cup.
He did. I remember that, and that's why I was like, this kid's special. But obviously, it just goes to show the difference between your sort of
he's only had
talent cups.
That's it. He's had 24 Moto3 starts. He's only finished in the points once. But the fact that he was battling for 6th now is impressive.
Promising. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very promising. I think, like you say, it's about confidence to be like, oh, no, I am meant to be here. I can be here. I can fight with these guys. You'll learn a lot from that. And I think he'll take that with him to the future rounds. I really hope so at Sachsenring, because he'll know a lot of the tracks coming up, because obviously he raced them last year anyway. But, he'll know Sachsenring because he did the rookies last year. He'll know the Red Bull Ring as well. So, it's good stead. And then obviously he knows something from the World Championship last year anyway as well. But yeah, it's good. It's good for him. I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
But Colin Vaya really impressed me as well. He was 17th on lap 12 and finished 6th.
That
was a 17-lap race. So he gained 11 places in 5 laps.
Jesus Christ.
It's just Mugello though, and it's on the straight because they can get an insane slipstream, can't they?
Yeah. Oh, if you've got a train of 10 bikes, you can slipstream pretty much all the way up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Sheesh.
But he did really well. On shoe though, I was gutted to see him lose that living on the line.
And that was it. But that was like the only thing that, it was one of the only bits of the whole weekend that was like, here's the Mugello magic. Someone getting slipstreamed to the line. This is classic. It was one of the only things that happened. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is a shame. Like, because I expected a bit more from Mugello, but
yep. But then, in Moto3, you got to be aiming to come out of that final turn in second place.
Yeah, you have to, because you know that. I mean, it has happened before where riders have been able to take it to the line, but it's just too risky.
Would that have been a Leopard of old?
Probably.
Unless you were on a Leopard, then. Or doing dangerous weaving, which obviously they've really calmed down because of all the penalties. Yeah,
I loved all the little on the last few laps there were like conduct warnings.
To all 5 riders. Just
don't be idiots.
Such a moot point. Yeah,
that was brilliant. That was quite funny. Just chill out. Don't do anything stupid. Don't offend your regret.
Who knows though? Those warnings could really have saved some broken limbs or anything. Who knows?
Yeah, you never know what can happen. I still remember that. Oh, what was it? It was Sachsenring, I think, 2020 in the Red Bull rookies. And it was the most... You'll probably have seen the clip somewhere. And it was David Munoz. And in the last lap, he took out 6 riders.
Oh my God.
It was nuts.
I haven't seen it, but I'm going to have to find it.
Yeah, he took out Alonso. He took out the other Munoz, because there's Daniel Munoz as well. He took out Alonso. He took out Holgado. I can't remember who else. He just took out pretty much everyone. And you're like, what the hell, dude? But yeah, you never know in Moto3, and so I think you just got to just be careful, please.
Yeah, this is the World Championship. This is where we do have to act like
we have to be
professional
smart
racers
about these things. There you go. Yeah, so it was David Alonso, David Munoz, Daniel Holgado, Ivan Ortola, Marcos Uriarte, who all crashed in that absolute carnage. And Matteo Bertel took his first win. Yeah, absolutely nuts.
Incredible.
But so we'll move on to the predictions, and then we'll end the podcast. We've got to do our predictions for Sachsenring as well.
Ooh.
I'm not going to obviously go through the points of each individual one because they're too confusing. I'll just say as we do it, as always.
Yep.
But going into this race weekend, Cameron was in the lead with 83 points. Myself in second with 60, and Lauren in third with 32. So,
Solid.
in the Moto3 race, it was Onshu on pole, and I went for Masaya, Cameron Moreira, Lauren Sasaki, so 0 points there.
Eek.
In the race, Holgado won ahead of Onshu and Sasaki. I put Onshu to win, so I'm very annoyed.
Oh.
Yeah, Ortola second and Holgado third, so I get 2 points. Cameron put Holgado to win. Yeah, and then
Good.
Sasaki second and Messiah third, so you get 11 points. And then Lauren went for Ortola, Holgado, Rueda, so she gets a point. So after Moto 3, Cameron leads with 94, myself with 62, so you got a 32-point lead, and Lauren with 33. Moto 2, it was Canet and pole. Me and Cameron went Arbolino, Lauren Lowe's, 0 points. In the race, in the race, it was Acosta, Arbolino, and Dixon. I went Acosta, Arbolino, Lopez. So I get 15 points off the back of that.
Yeah, nice. Good.
Very nice. Cameron, you went Arbolino, Acosta, Vietti. You went the wrong way around.
I tell you what, I was not that far away with redemption for Vietti, though. Come on.
No, yeah, you were close, to be fair. And Lauren went Arbolino, Lopez, Lowe's. She gets a point. So then it's you with 96, myself with 77, and Lauren with 34. So that little 32-point lead is now down to like 19. In MotoGP, Bagnaia got pole, as we know. Lauren was the only one who picked him for pole. You went Marquez and I went Miller. So Lauren gets a point.
I was close.
In the sprint races, Bagnaia. Lauren went for Binder, and both you and myself went for Bagnaia. Lauren went Binder. So we get 10 points each.
Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. We had 10 points each. In the race, I went for In the race, it was Bagnaia, Martin, and Zarco. I went for Binder, Bagnaia, Martin. So I get 2 points off the back of that. So I get 12 points. You went for Bezzecchi, Marini, Martin. So you get a point. And Lauren went Bezzecchi, Martin, Marquez. So you get 6 points. So the standings heading into Mugello, you lead with 107. I am just 18 back. I've actually closed the championship lead by 5 points with 89. And Lauren with 40 in third.
Come on, Lauren.
Absolutely left her
Jesus
behind.
Christ.
She was way back. She was like, I'm going to come in and win this. Yeah, about that.
Yeah. Bloody hell. I haven't written down any predictions for Sachsenring, actually, so I'm going off the top of my head here.
Yeah, I'm doing that as well, so it's absolutely fine. I've got Lauren's ones, though. Right, we'll start with Moto3 pole. I'm going to go with Sasaki. What about yourself?
Whoa, Sasaki does sound good, but also Messia sounds good. I'll go Messia just so we're not doing the same thing, and we'll keep it interesting.
Okay, nice. Third place.
Pardon me?
I don't know. I'm going to go with Alonso. What are you going to go for?
I'll have Onshu for third, please.
Onshu. Okay, very nice. Second place. I'll go with Lauren, who went for Holgado. Who are you going for?
I'll have Sasaki for second, please.
Yeah, I went Sasaki as well. Right, who are you going for the winner?
I'll have Messia for the win as well. I'll have a pole and win.
Nice.
Messia.
Okay. Lauren has gone Onshu to win. I've gone with Holgado because he's the championship leader and he's absolutely running away with it now. Right,
shit, I forgot about him.
Yeah, tut. Moto2 pole position. I'm going to go with Sam Lowe's. Who are you going for?
Oh, I was also thinking Sam. I think this is one of the tracks where the old wise shoulders of Sam Lowe's, I think, will pay dividends. But again, just to keep our little competition interesting, I'll go with someone else. And I'll go with Acosta, I think.
Nice. Lauren's also gone with Acosta as well. Third place. Lauren went for Lowe's.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Lopez again. Who are you going for?
I'll have Dixon on the box. Please.
Nice. We love that. Okay, Dixon. Okay, and second place, I'll continue with you, Cameron.
I think Pedro will bin it, so I'm going to go with Arbolino for second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lauren has also gone with Arbolino.
It's an awkward track. Yeah.
I'm also going with Arbolino, so we've all gone for Arbolino second.
Okay.
Me and Lauren have been boring, and we've gone for Acosta to win. Who are you going to go for win?
Samuel.
Sam Lowe's, okay.
Yeah.
He has the worst luck, I swear to God.
He does, and I think this is probably one of those tracks where, like, I don't know, he'll be able to just have the pace to just get away from the mania a little bit.
Yeah.
And just be able to set pace out front.
Yeah, I do hope so, because
I think
Sam Lowe's when he's on it is like faster than anyone, I think. Like
he is.
He's so good.
And he's still showing his raw speed that he's got, but it's got to be the right track, and I think this is one of them.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think he may have won there. Hold on, let's have a look. Because like Sam Lowe's, I remember he lost 2020. He was on for the 2020 Moto2 title before he broke his hand at Valencia.
Yeah.
Like, he is so unlucky. It's actually horrendous. Germany, no. No. Oh my God, last year was really bad, wasn't it, for him? He got a podium there last year. So yeah, I can't believe they kept him despite finishing 19th in the standings last year. That's nuts. Bloody hell. That is a shocker of a year. Jeez. I forgot actually how horrendous that year was for him. Blimmin' heck.
Oh dear.
But yeah, what year did he do MotoGP? Oh wait, 2017, yeah. Sorry, ignore me. I was reading it wrong. So, MotoGP pole position. Who are you going for?
Marquez.
Same. This is going to be a boring one. Who are you going for the sprint race? Oh, wait, me and Lauren have also gone for that. Me and Lauren have gone for the sprint race winner over Marc Marquez. Who are you going for?
I'm tempted to hedge my bets a little bit with Marquez here.
Okay.
Because what if the Honda is to blame here? Oh, well, Alex could be a good shout, actually.
He also grew up training with Marc Marquez, didn't he?
That's a weird phrase.
Yeah, that is.
Now let's have bread, my brew.
Brad Binder. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Third place. I'm going to go with. I'm going to say Quartararo because he got one there last year, but I just don't see that happening now.
He got a podium.
Bagnaia crashed out of the podium last year. He did. Bagnaia crashed out second there last year at Sachsenring. I don't think he'll make the same mistake again, so I'm going to put him third. I'm not going to put him third. Third place, I'm going to go with Brad Binder because KTM does all right around there.
Yeah,
who you go for
especially
third?
This year, I imagine. I'll put Pecco third.
Oh, okay, controversial.
Yeah,
Lauren, I've locked my phone so I can't see it. Let's put Miller third. Very nice.
Good shout. Okay, I think she'll get a point for that at least.
Yeah, I think so. Who are you going
I'm going to have...
second?
Let's go for Johan Zarco.
Oh, lovely. He's had 2 podiums in a row. Maybe 3. 2 podiums in a row. Can he do it again? Lauren's gone with Quartararo because she's biased. And I've gone with Marc Marquez. No, I haven't. I've gone with Brad Binder. Sorry, I've not gone with Marc Marquez.
Oh.
It's on the sheet as Bagnaia in second. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can neither confirm nor deny, so I'm just going to have to take your word. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, Bagnaia second and Marquez to win from me.
Yeah, same.
Who have you gone to win?
Marquez.
Yeah, so is Lauren. So we're all very boring. It's the obvious choice, I think.
If things, like if there is any, if the Mandela effect isn't real, then Marc Marquez has to win.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that.
And that's where I am on a Monday night.
Yeah, it sounds that way. Jesus Christ. But yeah, I think that's all we've got time for because we're both knackered.
Yeah, that'll do, I think.
Yeah, that'll do, laddie. That'll do. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed listening to this. That'll do. I hope you enjoyed listening to this podcast. We're back next week after the Session Ring. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Bye.